Vande Mataram and welcome to Sanatana Vajra. A very happy Independence Day to my fellow Indians who call this land Bharat Mata. This is the final episode of the series Sanatana Dharma, an inspiration for Bharat's war for freedom. We have 5 episodes before this, each covering different revolutionary groups and their inspiration from Sanatana Dharma. In the previous episode, we have seen how Azad Hind Fauj and the Indian Navy revolt became key to make British Empire surrender and declare freedom. We have also seen how the Western-minded politicians who came to power after independence manipulated our culture, history and the history of freedom movement. In the third episode, we said that there was one more revolutionary leader like Savarkar who became one of the first ever leaders to create large-scale revolutionary groups, and how many from these groups started new generations of revolutionaries and continued the legacy which finally led to our freedom. Many groups you have covered in the 5 videos either started from these groups or took inspiration from them. This another key leader and revolutionary was Aurobindo Ghosh, who we all know as a rishi, a saint, Sri Aurobindo. There is no surprise when historians mention Sri Aurobindo and Savarkar as founders of India's revolutionary freedom movement. There is a reason why I saved this episode as a special episode for today. Both the Independence Day and the birthday of this leader, Sri Aurobindo, happens to be on 15th of August. Aurobindo, after his education, joined the civil services under the state of Baroda under King Shahaji Gaikwad. Shahaji Gaikwad created chaos among the British when in an occasion he refused to bow before the King of England and walked away showing his back. King Shahaji was impressed with the ideologies of Aurobindo and asked him to join Baroda civil services. During these times, a journal called India Prakash, which was a part of Cambridge Journal, operated in Mumbai. Aurobindo for the first time wrote about his views on India's freedom in this journal. In these writings, he bluntly told people that few famous leaders are running Indian National Congress only to celebrate small and trivial gifts and changes that the British is throwing at them and are considering those namesake wins as achievements. He even openly told that the enemy is not the outsider, but our own weakness, cowardice and selfishness. Now let us see how he operated the revolutionary network. We all know that many regions of Bharat ran akhadas, the traditional fitness grounds and wrestling pitches. These akhadas focused on both physical and mental fitness by teaching them dharmic and spiritual aspects. Even during Turkic invasions, the akhadas were known to gather people for defense. So, similarly, Aurobindo thought of using the same network of akhadas to gather a group of revolutionaries. It was 1897 when Aurobindo helped Jachindranath Banerjee in enlisting into the Baroda army. They believed that this training would help in the freedom movement. Jachindranath returned to Kolkata in 1901 and started an akhada. He then started building a network of akhadas and started spreading the word of revolution. It is during these efforts they have added an akhada started by Satish Chandra Bose, a follower of Swami Vivekananda, and the name of this akhada was Anushilan Samithi. And under the leadership of Aurobindo, they named and organized the whole network of these akhadas as Anushilan Samithi. In an industrial exhibition in 1902, Raja Shahaji read a speech written by Aurobindo. The speech, in a resounding manner, spoke of British Raj being the reason for India being poor, how British destroyed and exploited India's resources and they themselves progressed by this. He called for a great national level cultural revolution. The audience was awestruck with these words. In the same exhibition, after a week, the Indian National Congress leaders also gave their speeches. One Congress leader praised the British for the good deeds they are doing for India and told that the British should have the control, and the other Congress leader asked for a permanent rule of British. Even thinking of this thought process makes me sick. It was during this exhibition Aurobindo met Lokmanya Tilak, and they both decided to work together as their ideologies clearly matched. That is, the cause of Purna Swaraj. In 1903, Barin Ghosh, the younger brother of Aurobindo, decided to follow his brother and join the revolution. Just imagine this. 2 young revolutionaries in a room in front of Mata Adishakti with a sword in one hand and Bhagavad Gita in the other, taking an oath to dedicate their lives for the freedom of their motherland. Such an inspiration, right? This way of oath taking became a standard across many revolutionary groups. Aurobindo Ghosh worked for 2 years in starting new branches of Anushilan Samithi in and around the Bengal region. Aurobindo wrote an 18-page proposal named Bhawani Mandir, in which he spoke of the idea of establishing a Bhavani temple and a school in a secluded location in the hills to train generations of warrior monks to build a country-wide group of revolutionaries. His tract named Bhavani Mandir laid an idea of this motherland as Bhavani Mata, Bhavani Bharati. In this, he wrote, "For what is a nation? What is our mother country? It is not a piece of earth, nor a figure of speech, nor a fiction of mind. It is a mighty Shakti composed of Shaktis of millions of units that makes up the nation. Just as Bhavani Mahishasuramardini sprang into being from the Shaktis of all the gods assembled in one mass of force and wielded into unity. The Shakti we call India, Bhavani Bharati, is a living unity of the Shaktis of 300 million of its people. But she is inactive, imprisoned in the magical circle of tamas, the self-indulgent inertia and ignorance of her sons. To get rid of this tamas, we have but to wake the Brahman within." This is what he wrote. This inactive, ignorant, sleeping children of Bharat, the sleeping Hindus, is what we are seeing till today. After that, they identified an old Kali Mata temple near the banks of river Narmada in Chandod. Both the brothers inspired many people through their network Anushilan Samithi to join the armed revolution. Leaders like Sachindranath Sanyal, Bhaga Jatin, Rash Bihari Bose started their journeys with Anushilan Samithi and later founded groups like HRA, Jugantar Ashram and Azad Hind Fauj. The brothers started a newspaper named Jugantar, a new Yuga, in 1906. Bhupendranath Datta, the younger brother of Swami Vivekananda, became the editor of this paper. Later, Aurobindo also agreed to write for Bande Mataram, a paper started by Bipin Chandrapal. Aurobindo's writing struck like rightful slaps to the loyalists and words of great inspiration for the nationalistic youth. They established Baganbari, the garden house, as the headquarters of Anushilan Samithi in Maniktola. Though they managed to collect few handguns and gather people at the headquarters, they lacked the expertise of using them. Hemachandra Das took up the responsibility of learning bomb making in 1906 and was sent to Paris for this. There, Hemachandra established connection with Panduranga Bapat, a member of Abhinav Bharat started by Savarkar. They both collected a 70-page manual on this particular skill and Hemachandra returned to Kolkata. By then, in 1907, Aurobindo Ghosh worked with Ulaskar Dutt and blew up a train in which Lieutenant Governor Andrew Fraser was travelling. Fraser luckily survived. However, Aurobindo viewed this as an act of haste. The British already had Aurobindo's house and the Bande Mataram office under surveillance. They understood that his writings were inspiring many youth into joining the armed revolution. The armed revolution is what the British feared the most after 1857. But Aurobindo's writings were so clever that the British could not pinpoint any evidence against him. They were able to arrest a few members of Jugantar paper using similar reasons. Douglas Kingsford was a judge infamous for sentencing the revolutionaries in a very harsh and cruel punishments. Barin and the team decided to eliminate him. Prafulla Chaki and young Khudiram Bose took up this task. Douglas managed to escape as there were two same looking vehicles and that caused confusion. Prafulla sacrificed himself in the efforts to escape and Khudiram Bose, an 18-year-old young revolutionary, was captured and was hanged on 11th August 1908. The British suspected that Aurobindo was behind these attacks on Fraser and Douglas. Aurobindo Ghosh and a few more revolutionaries were arrested along with evidence. Aurobindo was also arrested without any notice at night in his home. They both were imprisoned in Alipore jail. This case became famous nationwide with the name Alipore bomb trials. Barin somehow managed to smuggle in 2 pistols into the jail. He gave them to Kanayalal Dutt and Satyen Bose. They had to shoot Narendranath Goswami, who sadly succumbed to the torture of British and agreed to share the information about Anushilan Samithi inside the jail. Both Kanayalal and Satyen were hanged to death. This saddened and enraged and alerted the members of Anushilan Samithi, and they even eliminated the police officer who captured Prafulla. Now British increased their raids on Samithi members. Chittaranjan Das acted as a lawyer for Aurobindo in this case. This is the same Chittaranjan Das who we spoke of in the earlier episodes. The British could not pin any evidence on Aurobindo. There was no choice for them but to release him. But Aurobindo Ghosh and Ulaskar Dutt were sent to Kalapani jail for life imprisonment in 1909. Aurobindo now emerged as a national hero. It was a time when Tilak was in prison and Aurobindo now appeared as a leader for the nationalistic freedom fighters. British shut down Bande Mataram and Jugantar papers. In June 1909, Aurobindo started a paper called Karmayogin. Karmayogin immediately became a national-wide hit. It now had Hindi, Tamil and Bengali editions. Aurobindo gave speeches and united people across the nation. One such important and significant speech was the one he gave at Uttarpara. In his speech, he proudly guided as follows, and the audience has to pay sincere attention to this, as these words will stand true today and will stand true forever. And I quote, "I say that it is Sanatana Dharma which for us is nationalism. This Hindu nation was born with Sanatana Dharma. With it, it moves, and with it, it grows. When Sanatana Dharma declines, then the nation declines. And if the Sanatana Dharma were capable of perishing, with the Sanatana Dharma, the nation would perish. The Sanatana Dharma, that is nationalism, this is the message that I have to speak to you." And I unquote. He was very unapologetic about his inspiration from Sanatana Dharma, Sri Krishna Paramatma, and till today, it is the Hindu culture and Sanatana Dharma that has kept this nation stable. If you want more proof or clear understanding, you can clearly see the chaos in the two neighboring countries that were once part of Bharat but decided to split on religious basis. Look at their situation now and you will be grateful to be part of this nationalistic culture that is Sanatana Dharma. Aurobindo even said that Sanatana Dharma transcends the boundaries of Bharat and is a guiding principle for the whole world. This speech is the inspiration behind this entire series. In 1910, British planned to arrest Aurobindo again, but with the help of Anushilan Samithi, he went to Puducherry. While he kept tabs on all the happenings of the revolution across the country, he now focused on dharmic ethos, cultural revivalism and bhakti and drifted away from politics. The brave and fearsome revolutionary Aurobindo Ghosh now became a rishi, Sri Aurobindo. He wrote about this decision in his writings later, and it is a testament of his futuristic vision also. He believed that he already helped creating the force of revolutionaries that is needed, a nationwide Shakti for freedom. Now he had a new duty towards the nation, that is, to bring Indians out of the defeatist mentality that the British forced us for 200 years. They and the invaders before them damaged our culture and instilled an inferiority complex in Indians. Many famous leaders have started thinking of Upanishads and our culture as some mere blind beliefs and started thinking that development only meant westernization, and hence the Bharatiyans now needed to find back their cultural spirit, the dharmic roots, to create prosperity and successful Bharat once we won the freedom. And hence, he started his spiritual journey in Puducherry. His younger brother Baran Ghosh escaped prison, again was imprisoned in the cellular jail and got released. He ran one more paper for some time and joined back with his brother in Puducherry. As the time passed, Sri Aurobindo guided many towards Bharatiyata, and the Rishi, who started off as a blazing revolutionary, united large groups of revolutionaries, laid down the path to India's freedom, took his last breath in this physical realm in 1950. Barindra Kumar Ghosh continued his brother's duties and later passed away in 1958. The two major drivers, Aurobindo and Savarkar, who laid foundations to the revolution with inspirations from Sanatana Dharma and created legacies and generations of revolutionary freedom fighters that truly led to India's freedom, remained among the very few surviving revolutionary leaders post-independence. The two leaders who started the revolution were the two who remained once India became free but drifted away from the revolution. And sadly, the Western slaves took power. Even after so many sacrifices, so many battles and wars, even after 77 years of Indian independence, we still see few vermin with the slave and separatist mentalities trying to degrade Bharat. From politicians who create fears about the financial markets, from ones who meet with anti-India forces outside this country, and to the ones who spill the poison of separatism, such parasitic lives still exist in India. And it is our responsibility to revitalize the inspiration taught to us by such revolutionary leaders and the dharmic gurus, to protect our minds and the next generations from this poisonous influence. So, let us unite with the inspiration of our Kranti Veers and Dharma Veers and proudly raise the voice and say Jai Bharat and Vande Mataram. Let these slogans be an answer to all the anti-India and anti-Hindu forces outside and within this Punya Bhumi, this Karma Bhumi Bharat. Let's sing full Vande Mataram with pride and praise the glory of Bhavani Bharati. I once again wish you all a happy Independence Day. Please share all the videos, the whole series with your friends and family. Support by liking the videos and subscribe to Sanatana Vajra. We will meet again, and until then and forever, Jai Sri Ram, Jai Bharat, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram.